Hey, welcome back to the show. I am wearing a life jacket because when we do the segment on the nanny state, it is now a rule, I understand, that I have to either wear a life jacket or a bike helmet, or both a life jacket and a bike helmet, and I also have the warning whistle. It's for hate crimes. If I hear a hate crime, stop hate criming me. Anyways, joining me now to talk about the nanny state is our friend against government intrusion. I'm talking about Rob Breakenridge, who joins us now from our Calgary studio. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ezra. I feel very vulnerable. I'm not sufficiently protected by the looks of it.
That's right. Let me just say one thing to me, mister. Don't you hate crime me. I got my hate crime whistle, which I think really goes with this whole nanny state. I mean,
Really does.
It's all the same philosophy in psychology, isn't it? That we can't take care of ourselves, that we have to be grievance mongers and victims all the time, and that we're not grown-ups anymore. Am I right?
Yeah, well, yeah, certainly. We talked recently about the issue of life jackets where, for example, where I am here in Calgary, you can be standing knee-deep in the Elbow River. The moment you get on a raft, it's the law that you put on a life jacket. The county near Seattle, where it's now mandatory to wear a life jacket while swimming. All of these silly rules to protect us from ourselves. And there's a very interesting court challenge being launched in BC by a cyclist who says, you know what, if I choose not to wear a helmet, that's my decision. It doesn't put anybody else at risk. But in BC, regardless of where you are, who you are, how old you are, it is the law in BC that you must wear a bike helmet. What's interesting is this guy's originally from the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands they have far more people per capita riding bicycles. Virtually no one wears a helmet in the Netherlands, and it's one of the safest places in the world to ride a bicycle. Yet here in Canada, we've decided or determined somehow that it's incredibly dangerous to ride a bicycle, and this is where it's going. In BC, everybody, adults, children, everybody must wear a helmet while riding a bicycle.
Huh. Now, what kind of resources is the British Columbia government? I mean, I don't know how many British Columbians bike. I mean, the weather there is so nice. I bet it's a lot. But the amount of police power necessary to go after all those bike helmet violators, maybe, Rob, that's why they haven't had a chance to go after the Stanley Cup rioters. They haven't filed any charges yet.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Because they're all on bike patrol. And by bike patrol, I don't mean patrolling on bikes. I mean patrolling for guys on bikes.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting, because of course you get the nanny statists who say, well, gee, if you fall off your bike and hit your head, it's going to cost the healthcare system. So that's kind of their excuse to justify all of these intrusions. But there's a cyclist group in Vancouver that is supporting this guy in his challenge, and they're saying what we've seen in other jurisdictions that have brought in helmet laws is people stop riding their bikes. Riding your bike is great exercise. If you're parking your bike, chances are you're just going to get behind the wheel and drive your car, and you're not getting that exercise, and so there's a cost to the healthcare system that way as well. But once we get into this notion of your actions costing the healthcare system, therefore we must regulate your behavior, I mean, I suppose at some point we'll make condom use mandatory by law as well.
That's a great point. I never thought about it. If you don't let people ride their bike freely, they might not ride at all, and the healthcare costs might be even bigger. But the argument that because we give you healthcare insurance in Canada, therefore we have the control over your body, that is a slippery slope to an awful number of things. I mean, theoretically, everything you do in your life could be governed by the state with that excuse as well. We cover your health care. But tell me some more. I mean, I love the energy drinks, especially when I'm feeling a little bit sleepy. Tell me, you got some news about Red Bull, do you?
Well, I tell you, Ezra, people are freaking out about Red Bull. There's all sorts of controversy that Health Canada is not regulating it up. Some even say we need to ban it altogether, Ezra.
Now, why on earth would they want to ban it? I mean, it's delish. I am drinking it while wearing a life preserver. Do you think that buys me some wiggle room here?
Probably a little bit. It's remarkable. There's this huge panic in the moment surrounding energy drinks. Now, if we want to have a discussion about caffeine consumption in Canada, that's one thing, but the discussion is only about energy drinks. Now, let me give you an example. Your typical can of Red Bull has about 80 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, you know that off by heart. It's true.
Oh, absolutely. It is true. So you would need to drink not one, not two, not three, but 5 of those cans of Red Bull to get to what Health Canada says is the daily recommended caffeine intake for a typical adult. 400 milligrams of caffeine is what they say. Huh. And it's so interesting because in society, we say, hey, why don't we meet for coffee? Or you have someone over to your house and you say, hey, can I get you a coffee? If you put Red Bull in the equation, say, hey, why don't we go meet for some Red Bulls? People would think you're a crazy maniac or something. But we've lost perspective here. These energy drinks are essentially cold, carbonated cups of coffee. And there are so many other drinks out there, even iced cappuccinos, which are billed as nice cold treats on a hot sunny day. They've got as much or more caffeine as these energy drinks. But Ezra, we've got all these nanny status groups like the Center for Science and the Public Interest saying the government needs to regulate these energy drinks, even ban them for people under 18. Or even some groups saying, ban them all together. And it's very disproportionate. We're only focusing on one form of caffeinated beverage, which is really no different. In some cases, actually has less caffeine than what you'll get in a coffee.
Rob, I think it's a bit of a classist thing, frankly. I mean, you're very wise to point out that fancy pants cappuccinos, the regulators would never touch that because that's their style. But, guys like Red Bulls, that's low class. Tell me, there's one more thing, this war on martial arts. I mean, as you know, yeah. I'm an accomplished pink belt in Taekwondo. I mean, the whole country knows that from my Kung Fu fighting episode. But, I mean, I think that there's something a little bit classist about regulators saying we should shut down martial arts exhibits because people could get hurt. I mean, duh. That's the whole point of martial arts, is to have a fight. Tell me the news about this one.
Well, and it's the same knee-jerk reaction to energy drinks. It's new, it's aggressive, it's something that young men are into, and so it just to the nanny status, it just seems all too weird and violent. We need to get rid of it. Mixed martial arts is becoming hugely popular. UFC is sort of the main promotional vehicle. These shows sell out all over the place. You got Georges St. Pierre from Quebec, who's one of the best-known athletes in this country. But the Canadian Medical Association came out last year calling for a ban on mixed martial arts. Just recently, there was an incident at an event in, I believe it was Kamloops, where someone had to undergo emergency surgery. He's okay now. But the BC Medical Association came out and said, well, no, that's not good enough. We need to ban this event altogether. So you've got consenting adults who know the risks, who are participating in this. You've got consenting adults who enjoy watching this. And yet you've got the nanny status who want to overrule both and come in with their veto and say, I know you want to watch this. I know you think you want to participate in it, but we know better than you, and we're going to ban this sport. Now, they don't have any statistics to back it up on deaths or injuries. I mean, we know a lot about concussions in football or even deaths related to boxing, for example. Hockey got a real problem with concussions. So we've got stats on the dangers of those sports. They got nothing to back up this attack on MMA. It's just, to them, it seems aggressive and violent. They don't like it. So the answer, of course, is to ban it.
Rob, I'm sorry we're out of time. I'm going to take another crack at this. I mean, the life jacket was me trying to be safe, but drinking Red Bull sort of counteracted that. I think I've got to concoct perhaps the most politically incorrect sport possible. Maybe doing Taekwondo without a helmet while drinking Red Bull in a boat without a life jacket. I want to put it all together in one beautiful moment of saying, I'm free, and even if I'm doing something a little bit goofy, we've got the right to be goofy. It's in the Charter of Rights, Rob. Look it up. Thanks for joining us today. We'll have you on again. I'll figure out this Red Bull life jacket-y thing. Folks,